It's Jeremy here on Metal Music Meltdown, back with another video. What I have today, guys, is the next installment of my hard rock slash metal CD collection. I think we're up to part 16, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not sure. But let's jump right in, guys. Got another stack of CDs to go through. Again, these aren't in any kind of order. They're just kind of jumbled around. Definitely check out my playlist if you want to check out the rest of my collection of what I have. And let's jump right in. So the first one here we got is a kind of an alternative band from the kind of 2000s and the 90s, Finger Eleven. Pretty cool band. They used to be called the Rainbow Butt Monkeys. I always kind of dug this band back in the day. Had a cool sound, and they always opened for like every band I used to go see, so I saw them live like a bunch of times. But pretty solid alternative band, but yeah, they're still around from what I know, but I haven't followed them in quite a long time, but pretty cool stuff. Next, we got one of my favorite melodic death metal bands, Insomnium, with One for Sorrow. I've had some of their other albums pop up in my collection. These are just another one I have. Another great album from these guys. They don't really have a bad album in their discography, in my opinion. Really good stuff. Really good band. And next we got the band Instinct. They're like a Russian kind of thrashy traditional metal band. Pretty good stuff. I kind of blind bought this through CDN Records on a deal one time, and it's pretty decent. I enjoy it. It's not what I go back to all the time, but pretty good. And next we got a next band called Venexa. And again, this is another one I kind of picked up from CDN Records. Really cool kind of traditional metal band. I saw they were on Punishment 18 Records, and they always have pretty good stuff on there, so I checked it out. And pretty solid stuff, just some good traditional metal, good soaring vocals on this one, really cool artwork as well. Good stuff. And next we got Affront with Angry Voices. Thrash metal band. I think they're based out of South America somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. Or Chile, I think it was. Pretty good stuff. I do listen to this from time to time. Not my favorite thrash metal band of all time, but pretty solid stuff. Definitely check these guys out if you're not familiar. Pretty good stuff. And then we got Anganga with Oppressor. Another, from my memory, I think they're a Russian as well. Pretty cool band. I don't remember too much about this album. I think this was one I got on one of those like mystery box kind of packages I picked up one time. But I remember being like, they're from Russia, I believe. I can't remember too much more about it. I think they were like if I remember correctly, kind of a death thrash band, if I remember. Not sure though. Next we got a band that's on CDN Records label, or they were at the time. Battle Soul with Sunward and Starward. Really cool band, kind of a traditional band with folky elements. Really cool stuff, really ethereal, really anthemic, very beautiful musical passages. I listened to these guys on YouTube before picking it up on CDN Records. And it's just a really nice, really cool album. Really enjoyed these guys, really good stuff. I can see why they signed them. And then next we got Inner Darkness. And it looks like the album name is in Spanish or French, so I don't know how to say it, but this one here, another thrash metal album I picked up through CDN Records. I think these guys are again based out of South America, if I remember correctly. Pretty cool stuff, pretty gory, kind of a death thrash band. Really pretty cool stuff though. I love the artwork on this one, really good. Pretty cool stuff. And then next we got Ancient Diamonds, I think it is. Ancient Dome. And it's called OWT and Still We Are. Another thrash metal band. I think these guys are based out of the US. Pretty solid stuff. Some good tracks on here, but nothing too crazy. I think it's just like a kind of mediocre kind of thrash band. Nothing that really grabbed my attention. I don't think I picked up any of their other stuff, but it's an okay album. And next we got Impress with, well, I can't read the thing, but it's another Russian band. Everything's in Russian on the back. Another death thrash band from Russia. Pretty cool stuff. Everything's in Russian, but it still sounds really cool. Great riffs. Pretty heavy album. Like I said, kind of death thrash, pretty aggressive stuff. Cool artwork on this one as well. If you're not familiar, definitely check them out. They're called Impress. And then we got Como with Disorder. Coma, sorry, with Disorder. Really cool artwork on this one as well. This is like a death metal band with some thrashy elements. Pretty heavy stuff. I remember Time being really good on this, and Blood Fades to Ice is really good too. Another one on Punishment 18 Records. Really cool stuff. If you're not familiar with Coma, definitely check them out. Got Wicked Angel, the Remastered Collection, Volume 2, MMXI Volume 2. I think they got this for free from CDN Records when they placed a bigger order one time. I ordered like 15 albums, and I think Craig just kind of threw this in for me. I don't remember too much about it. I think it was like a traditional metal kind of collection, if I remember correctly, but I remember it being just okay. I can't remember offhand though. And this is another one I think you remember him throwing in for me one time on one order I did. It's called Thy Kingdom Slum. I think this is just like an EP or like a collection of their rare songs or something. Just comes on a little cardboard disc here. Pretty simple stuff, but still sounds pretty cool. And next we got, I'm trying to pronounce it. It's Hamakt. It's again a Russian thrash death band. There was a period there where I was kind of really getting into that sound, and there's a lot of really cool bands out of Russia that really had this really aggressive kind of death thrash sound. I was kind of buying them up. Haven't gone back to them as much lately, but I did discover some really cool bands, and I've kind of gotten away from it lately, but just really good stuff. Just shows you don't dismiss bands if their singing is not in your home language, because you're gonna miss out on some great material like Rammstein, for instance, like killer band. Of course, you don't understand what the lyrics are about, but still a really good band nonetheless with great music and aggressive style. Next we got another Russian band, Antunov. These guys are like traditional metal with some power metal, folk metal elements mixed in. This one's pretty good. Riding Along Again. This one's in English. Fire in Veins was really good. Black Tongues was really good. Killer artwork on this one. They're like a blackened like folk metal band with a lot of traditional elements mixed in. Really cool stuff. And next we got Mind Wars with The Enemy Within. Another thrash metal band from Punishment 18 Records I picked up. This was again a time in my kind of buying career where I was kind of forcing myself to try to discover new bands. And Punishment 18 was having a good slew of pretty decent thrash metal bands. And this one was pretty good. I remember being decent. Not one I've gone back to quite as much lately, but pretty solid stuff. And then we got Ignorance Flows with Rotten Riot. This is another death thrash band. I think these guys are from the US somewhere. This is from, looks like 2018. I remember the couple songs of this one. Judgment Day was pretty decent. Lethal Virus was pretty killer, and Dead Man Truth. Pretty cool band, pretty aggressive. Kind of like that, like I said, the death thrash kind of sound, more on the aggressive side. I remember being pretty decent. And the next one here, let me move these around. Next we got Nemesis with The Beginning of the End. This is just an EP I picked up through CDN Records. Pretty cool death thrash band again. Some really good couple songs on this one. I listened to it on YouTube. I think I have one of their other albums as well, their full length, so I wanted to pick up the EP. I really enjoyed their full length, so I wanted to pick this up as well. Pretty cool stuff. And next, we got some more mainstream stuff, not as underground. Rammstein with Mutter. My favorite Rammstein album of all time, with songs like, I think I might have done this, I can't remember. But Mutter, My favorite Rammstein album of all time was songs like Zwitter, the title track, Führer vor, Ich will. Just some really cool tunes on this one. Always been my favorite album. It's always the one I go back to the most. Really cool band. Have a very distinct industrial sound, and always love this band. Really good stuff. Next, we got a top, if not 5, top 10 album of all time for me. Power Trip with Nightmare Logic. Soul Sacrifice, Executioner's Tax, Firing Squad, Nightmare Logic. Every song on this is a banger. One of the best crossover thrash bands of all time. One of my favorite bands of all time. Unfortunately, rest in peace, Riley. They only put out 2 albums. But Nightmare Logic, this is their sophomore album. It's a top, if not top 5, top 10 album of all time for me, for sure. I listen to this every week, like without fail. Really, really good album. Killer. Next we got Megadeth with Euthanasia. Really good album from these guys. This is like an early 90s album. Reckoning Day was really good. Trains of Consequences. The title track was really killer. I hate Tout de le Monde. I always fucking hate that song. But overall, this is a really solid Megadeth album. I don't consider myself a huge Megadeth fan, to be honest. There's a couple albums I really dig from them, some really early ones that are iconic and masterpieces. But there's a lot of duds in their discography, in my opinion, too. A lot of ones that I'm not really into. But this one's really good. This is definitely the top tier Megadeth. I still have to do a ranking of the albums for them. Next, we got a great Toronto band, Woods of Ypres, with Woods 5, Grey Skies, and Electric Light. Unfortunately, after this album, the lead singer did pass. But this is a really eerie, really heavy, somber, but heavy at the same time, depressive, really cool album. It doesn't sound like anything other band. If you're not familiar with these guys, please check them out. They're from my home city of Toronto. Lightning in the Snow is probably the best song on the album, the opener. But really good album. I have this on vinyl too. Really good stuff. And next we got The Ocean with Anthropocentric. This is like a kind of psych, progressive, heavy metal band. Pretty cool stuff. I remember really being into this when I first got it. Really cool packaging on this one too. Just a digipack, but pretty cool looking imagery. And another band I remember being into quite a bit when I picked this up. I was kind of blown away. But I never got a chance to pick up any of their other stuff, so I definitely need to pick it up. I think I have 2 of their albums in total, but I definitely like this band a lot. I just haven't got a chance to pick up more stuff from them yet. And next we got The Offspring with Days Go By. I used to like The Offspring back in the day. Not normally into like the poppy punk kind of sound, but The Offspring had some catchy tunes. I did really enjoy them. This one's not bad. It's not one of my favorites from them. I prefer the earlier albums, but it's still pretty decent. And I don't really listen to it much anymore. I go back to the older albums more, but I still have it in my collection, and it's just kind of there. And next we got Offspring with Rise and Fall, Rage and Grace. Another one I don't really go back to quite as much from their catalog. I always like Smash the Best. That's the one I got into back in the 90s when I was a teenager. But this one's decent. I kind of bought their albums through the years. I followed the band for a couple of years. I think I had their first 5 or 6 albums. And then as soon as that song, Pre-Fly for a White Guy, came out, that's where I dropped them instantly. That song is fucking garbage. And I just really hated the direction they were going in, so I just stopped buying their stuff pretty much. Next we got Onslaught with Power from Hell. Great thrashy album from the UK veterans. I think this is their debut, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember offhand. Another band I need to pick up more stuff. I know Amazon has a box set that has their first 6 or 7 albums together. I think this one's in there, but for the price, it's probably worth picking up still. And pretty good album. But the earlier albums were more thrashy, but really good stuff. Next, we got Ozzy Osbourne with Scream. One of his later material, not the greatest in his discography, but it's got a couple decent tracks. Let It Die, Let Me Hear You Scream, Soul Sucker was another one. The first 3 songs are pretty much the best, I think. But overall, it's just an okay kind of rockin' Ozzy album. It's nothing too great. Definitely not one I really go back to. His early material is definitely the best by far. And then we got Newstead, our Jason with Metal. This is just EP, the original EP he put out with Soldier Head, Kings of the Underground. Pretty basic, kind of straightforward metal, but I still dig it. I wanted to support Jason. Always really liked him. He's a really great bass player. And I wanted to support whatever he did after he left Metallica. And he put an album out after that, which I have as well, which had these songs on it. But it's not bad. It's pretty straightforward, kind of more basic, but it's pretty good. And then we got Before the Dawn with This Star Rising. Pretty cool band. Haven't listened to these guys in a while. Actually, I might pop this in later today, kind of looking at it. I haven't listened to this in a while. But really good stuff. If you're into like, if I remember kind of the progressive, kind of traditional metal band, The First Snow, Death Star, Winter Within. Some really good tunes on this one. Definitely check it out. And the last one for this video is Born of Osiris with the Discovery. I think this is one of 2 albums I have of this band. It's a band I never got heavily into. I kind of dug the one album I picked up, and I tried picking up a second one, and it just didn't really grab me the same way, or maybe I was kind of growing out of that style and I didn't really go back to it. And it's a band I kind of stopped following, and I just picked up their 2 albums. I think I might have picked them up one time. I was at Mayhem Fest one year when I was younger, and they had a couple of their CDs, and I picked up like an extra one. But I kind of lost interest after that, and I didn't really follow them afterwards. So that's it for this video, guys. Let me know down below if you've heard any of these albums or if you have any of them yourself. And I've got enough down there to maybe do a couple more videos. Stay tuned for part 17 coming up. Thanks for watching, guys, and keep it metal.